What's up guys, this is Adam from 3dmodelsworld.com. Welcome to another Maya tutorial, and today we're gonna create this awesome camera projection, and it's gonna be rendered in Arnold in Maya 2018. And this same techniques can apply to Maya 2017, or you can use also Mental Ray and even Maya software to create this kind of effect. So without further delay, let's get started. So this is a Photoshop file I have, and I divided this image into different sections because in camera projection you want to make sure you have the foreground and the background separate, so this way you can have a really solid projection. So let me show you the layers I have. So now I have this background image, and I have the TV separated into different layer as well. So as you can see, I added the shadow here. We're not gonna be able to see it, but just in case, it's good to have the shadows visible there. So this will work for us for now because it's pretty simple image, just two major elements into it. So before we take this into Maya, we want to make sure we save this image separate, and then one with the full image as well. So let's move to Maya. So first thing we need to do here, we need to create a new camera, and then let's switch this side to the perspective, and then here let's change to the camera 1. So once we are in camera, let's go to the camera settings and make sure we click on environment, create, and let's select the image. So I have here, as you can see, the full image and then the background separated. So let's select full image. Let's go to the render settings, and let's make sure we have the correct render settings. So first let's change to camera 1. We will change that later to the render camera, but for now let's check camera 1, and let's change the resolution to HD 720. Okay, this is for now, this will be good. And let's activate resolution gate so we can see. And then very important thing is in the placement here in the camera, let's make sure we select the correct settings. So you can click render, and first thing we can see, the image is squashed. So we want to make sure when we render, the image looks correct. That's one way to tell if you're having the correct settings. So let's change to fit resolution gate, and then let's make sure the fit is changed to fill. So now you can see the image adjusts its proportions. Let's render. So now we have this image in the correct proportions. So that's first step is done. Okay, next thing, let's start adjusting the camera to match our camera in the photograph. So we can basically move the camera here in Maya and rely on the grid to match the ground. So we can zoom in, that's fine. Let's zoom in a little bit and zoom out. We can adjust this, just make the orientation look similar. We can, let's just keep tweaking until you get from different angles the grid line up correctly. So this seems okay. Doesn't matter where I am positioning my camera. So now let's create the TV. Let's go create polygon cube, and then let's scale it up. Let's move it, and let's keep an eye on the camera while we're doing this step, just make sure we put it the right place. Forward. So this edge is lining up, so that's pretty good. So now another thing, let's create the ground, and then let's scale it as well. Let's push it down, make sure it's touching the TV, so everything needs to be in relationship, like correct. Okay, just keep scaling the ground. Let's line it up with the edge of the ground. Let's press 4. So looks pretty good. The line's still continuous. It's a little bit off here, but that's okay. Okay, next thing is let's duplicate the ground and rotate it so this way we can create the wall. Okay, let's move the wall, and again have to be touching this ground so this way everything will feel connected. Okay, let's go, let's see here. Yeah, the wall is also there, so that's all pretty good. So now we have like the basics of the projections done. Now next thing to do, maybe we can lower the ground a little bit more. Okay, let's see here. So we can push it more this way toward the wall, and then let's adjust also the wall, push it back. That's good. So everything now looks getting in contact with each other, so that's important. Next thing is let's start adjusting the vertices on the TV. So let's move the top part, and so now I am in object mode. Make sure you're in object mode. Let's see, everything is good here. Let's select this side, and then let's move it as well. And let's lower this side. Okay, let's insert some edge loops. Basically, we kind of need to model rough shape of the TV now. So it's gonna be like pure modeling now at this stage. Let's lower this part a little bit, because TVs usually they have like old ones, they have like a bend. So, you know, it doesn't have to be like perfect in the parts we don't see, but it's nice to get it as close. Okay, let's add more edge loops here. And we need to do for the corners of the TV, so let's add one here. And we need, I guess, another one there, but let's raise this one up. Let's make sure we do both sides. Okay, let's raise this side up as well and move it. Now we want to make sure, so this is the ground, so we can adjust the ground later, so I'm gonna push the vertices a little bit down. So for here we just need to push it all the way, and then we need to add another edge loop and vertices here as well. Okay, and let's add another edge loop for the top part here. And let's adjust the vertices accordingly. So now we start to get a better shape. I think we can add one more edge loop in here. Okay, that's good. Let's add one edge loop here, just to push this edge. It's kind of getting away. Let's do the same here. So this is, let's see, so this one is good here, and let's push this one in. Okay, so let's switch between wireframe and shaded. So that looks pretty good. Let's move this one a little bit in, and let's add another edge loop here. And let's adjust this edge as well, push it out. We want to preserve as much of the TV shape as possible. Okay, so that looks good. So let's delete the history. And we can do these gadgets here, so let's do just we can do like 4 of them, so let's do that. So first let's see, let's insert an edge loop here. So I'm keeping my eye on this side, and let's insert another edge loop just above it, and then let's push these guys, push them inward like this. I know the TV it's not exactly like that, but for projection you can cheat a lot, so that's a good example of cheating. But since we moved the faces back, let's make sure we push the vertices out so they're covering the edges again and they don't go off. This side seems okay, but just make sure you're not missing anything. Okay, so now let's have like a little bit bend, and let's create cylinders. We can scale it. We can of course adjust these later. Let's turn it to 90 degrees. This is gonna be bigger, but let's see. Okay, so let's move it, push it down, and then scale it down. Okay, we can push it in. Deselect. I'm just deselecting so I can see better. You can push it out and in. Make sure it doesn't disappear. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's duplicate it, move it to the other side, push it back out. Okay, let's see. Let's scale it. It's going too much. Let's push it out. Okay, so that's roughly good. Let's duplicate for these guys. Let's scale down and let's make sure it's out. Okay, that's good. Let's push it in a little bit. Let's go to the wireframe. Let's move it. Okay, that's good. And then let's duplicate it one more time. For this side. Let's push it in more. I want to make sure they not get floaty outside. Okay, so that's pretty good as well. So now we have all these basic shapes good to go, and everything is in contact, which is great. And the distance need to feel like relatively accurate. So if we go wireframe, the TV feels pretty close to the wall. So same, we have it here like close as well, so that's good. That's all important factors to make the projection work really well. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, we need to assign the materials for this geo. So let's select everything, and then let's create a new material, and let's select surface shader. Let's go to surface shader setting, and then let's change that to projection full. So this is gonna assign the projection full image to it. So let's click on file, right click, and then create as projection. And let's click on the image, and then let's select the projection full image. Okay, and then let's go to the node. And then let's change from planar to perspective. And then let's make sure we're connecting our camera. And then let's see what we got. Need to adjust. So this is now, if we change it to resolution, you can see it's off. So the first one, the camera gate, was the best. So let's look from the camera. Everything looks good, and let's render. It should look exactly the same like the first image. Okay, great. So now it looks exactly the same like before. That's a good sign. So next thing to do, so as you can see now, we have all this projection. We need to care about just what the camera sees. So all this outside, it doesn't matter for us. So this is the kind of side we need to focus on. But now, as you can see, we can see the TV stretching on the background, and this just doesn't look good. So the solution is to replace the ground projection with the new image of the background that we created. So let's go to the hypershade. Then let's select our projection shader, and let's go edit, duplicate shading network. Okay, so now we created another shader. Let's have exactly the same settings that we just created for the first one. So let's change it from full to background. Next thing is we need to select the image, and then we need to replace it with a background, this one. So before we was using this image, now we're gonna change it to this one. Next thing is we need to select the wall and the ground, and then we need to assign it the new material. So now you can see everything get cleaned behind the TV, exactly matching what we did in Photoshop. So that's great. So now we have the TV that have the correct projection, and then we have the background have the correct projection as well. Okay, so the next thing to do in order to create the animation, we can't animate the same camera, then we're gonna have some major problems. If we move it, the projection gonna start moving and it's gonna look very weird. So let's duplicate it, and let's go to that render view, and let's change to camera 3, and then let's unlock this camera. Okay, so now we are in camera 3. So let's make sure we press S to save a keyframe of the first frame. So this way we can go back to it if we want. And let's go to 120, and let's start moving the camera around. So this is the room we have. We can't go beyond this because it starts showing the other parts, and we can't go beyond this because we can see also weird things. So there is like a limitation to how much we can move in projection, but let's see. So this could be good here. Press S, and now we have this camera movement. Let's select show and hide everything and just keep the polygons, and let's hide the grid. Okay, so now you can see the current animation we have. We can actually, let's see, we can zoom in and then move it up. Like, we're trying to get a dynamic motion, you know, as much as we can with the current range of frames we have. So let's go to frame 58, and then let's slow the camera down. Maybe look up a little bit. Let's try to get something interesting. And let's go to the Windows Animation Graph Editor, and let's change these two all to linear, so become more like consistent motion. And let's go to this frame. Let's see, we can raise it up. We can raise the camera up a little bit and blend the tangents more so we can get smoother motion. Let's see. So of course you can experiment with the animation and get like a better result, but that's the basics of creating this camera projection. And as you can see, when we render in Arnold, you don't have to add any lights or anything because everything is baked into the image. So that's one great thing, and we render really fast. So hopefully this tutorial will help you guys create camera projections easily. Let me know if you have any questions, and please subscribe for more future videos. Until next time, take care. Thanks.